America utopia, take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics and Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as the ARPANET. Created by whom? Created by we the people, we the people, we the people. And that's all we're about here, folks. We the people. But without further ado, we'll send it to the studio with El Señor Jacques Van Bever and the one and only Mariana.
Bonjour, hello people.
Good morning, Egberto. How
Good
are
morning.
you? How are you doing,
I
Mariana?
am doing
I'm good.
fine.
Awesome.
And how are you
So,
doing, Mariana?
I kind of was like up a lot last night, but I'm good, But I'm
That
just,
dog of yours, right?
it
Keeping
affected
you
me,
up.
yes. It affected me.
So anyway, what's up, guys?
Jack, so I'm going to do the introduction that you have today, and then Jack has something that he's written, so he's
Go for
fired
it.
today. He's fired up, I should say. Fired, not fired. I'm like
He's
Donald Trump.
fired up and
Anyway.
ready to go.
Okay, so democracy does not repair itself. It demands engagement, accountability, and courage. Today, the show examines a grassroots push to expand voter registration in Houston, a Republican governor's stark warning that his own party is driving the country towards disaster, and a sharp rebuke of Wall Street's favoritism that keeps working families trapped under crushing credit card interest rates. Civic action, economic truth, and political accountability all collide in this hour.
Way to go, Egberto. That's good.
We're ready to go. So, Jack, we've been sort of like missing the word of Jack for a few days. So I know this is going to be good, bro.
All right. Here we go. I kind of got inspired about the governor that's saying we're headed for disaster. So here we go. The GOP, Trump and his billionaire cabinet are working to tear apart and privatize every social institution in America. They have sold the people out to corporate power. Now, like vampires, the wealthy are sucking up all the cash they can and holding it in their money bins. It's not circulating in the economy. America, you are headed towards financial collapse. The wealthy are cashing out of America as they squeeze you for every last penny they can get. They are building the infrastructure to detain hundreds of thousands, even millions of people in detention centers, i.e., concentration camps, using ICE and the immigrant detention as the reason for building this infrastructure. What I'm saying is, after they're done with the immigrants, they're going to come after the people. They are using narratives that are demonizing the left, the dissenters, and the protesters, which is the next group that they will want to put in these detention centers, because that next group is who they're going to put in the concentration camps. America, you're headed for an ugly chapter in your future history of authoritarian, totalitarian rule by the rich. If we, the people, are to save our democracy, we need to get busy. Get up, get out, and vote. Protest, resist with every fiber of your being. And then the time ran out. So I could went on with that one forever. So
No, but I mean, you touch on a couple of things that I think I'm going to want to hit on after we talk to Sandy, because I'm gonna twist what I need to say a little bit, because you kind of tickle my fancy with something that you said there about the gulags or the concentration camps or whatever you want to do. So you kind of wake up something that I think America needs to hear. But
yes,
beforehand,
yes.
let's go ahead and hear what the station manager or brother Sunday Wyman has to say. I think at least had his first cup of coffee that he's awake, right?
Hopefully. Could be sleep drinking coffee.
Well, at least he's
Good
not
morning.
sleepwalking, man.
Yeah, like sleep drinking coffee could be a whole new thing we could start. Hey, folks, good morning. Good morning, Egberto, Jack. We begin our Tuesday here with a goal of $175,000 still on the table, $500 for this show. Currently, we stand at $108,056 coming from 698 contributions so far. And we're looking to add to that and get a little closer to our overall goal this morning, but starting off the day right with this valuable listening audience in the morning. A lot of people wake up and listen to this, and Arnie Arneson and Amy before they begin their day. And I'm hoping that a few people that have not yet pledged will step up and do so and help us to a $500 goal during this hour. Our number is 713-526-5738, option 1, or our URL, kpft.org. There's a donate button. You can donate securely online. A couple of you getting us started at a $5 a month level would be fantastic. But if you could do your part and help us to the goal this morning, it makes a big difference when we start the day off right by making these goals early. One more time, 713-526-5738. And good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's no longer Megalomaniacal Monday. You're past that in the week. And we move
Wait,
on
wait, wait.
here
What was
today.
that word?
Again,
Mega.
megalomaniacal.
Man, I won't try to
Megla,
repeat it. Yeah.
megalomaniacal. Rolls right off the tongue. And on
Yeah, okay.
Mondays, sometimes I've got nothing for Tuesday, fortunately.
Okay. Anyway, folks, thank you so kindly for that, Sandy. Yeah, folks, let me tell you one thing though. There are 2 days in this fund drive that we didn't make the quota on politics done right. Not a good thing for
Get
politics done
clear,
right.
Sandy.
Made me cry. No, I didn't cry. I was just feeling bad. So let's try to get to the 500. Actually, we should try to get to more than 500 if we can to make up for those other 2 days that we didn't make our quota. So 713-526-5738. A lot of you could call in and do that coffee a month, $5 a month, or that $10 a month. It would be great, and you will not feel it. You will feel good, and you would be supporting something of substance. I want to say welcome to JN. She said, he's not wrong. Many in our country have been cowed to believe that this is what they voted for. Exactly. Dena Verloop, welcome aboard, Denise Shepard. Glenn Ryan, my brother, my brother on the right of me is in the house. Let's see what his response is going to be. Joe says, hello, Substack people from Los Angeles, California. Bobby K says, good morning from Houston. And of course, we have, yeah, Arnie Arneson really rock. I spoke to her on Sunday. We're going to come on together on a good story probably after the fund drive that she passed on yesterday on Sunday to me. She said, check this out. Can you believe this? Said I gotta make sure and research this, but I can't. No, I can't believe it. Anyway, I want to so please folks give us a call 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738, extension 1 to contribute. We have to raise $500. I'd like to actually raise 1,000. Help me because that'll cover for the 2 days that we didn't make that quota. So I know you want to help us out. Brother Glenn Ryan says, whenever you want to debate that, let me know. Genocide is not left, my brother. I don't support it. You know that, Glenn. But we got to go get some coffee. You're absolutely right about that. I'll use that excuse just to sit down and have a chat with you, brother. Anyway, what Jack spoke about, these gulags, these concentration camps and whatever, right? I want y'all to think logically, all of you that are listening to me right now, because this is important. Donald Trump and his thugs are going around the country buying up all these warehouses at a profit. I just found out there is one that they got near Bush Intercontinental Airport here in Houston. People have been saying, like, you don't see those, aren't they building that stuff in Houston? I'm like, no, I don't think so. But there's one of those warehouses close to Intercontinental that I understand is a concentration camp as well. And, just look like a regular warehouse. God knows what's happening on the inside. But I want y'all to think about this. Please, please. There are criminals in our realm. Most of them not immigrants. Most of them are good old Americans that are criminals. More so, in fact, the statistics tells you that more Americans as a percentage are violent criminals or criminals, period, than the immigrants that come in here. And let me tell you, immigrants that don't have their papers straight, the last thing they want is to be in contact with the government in any fashion, whether they will not be voting illegally because they don't want to be caught. They keep themselves in a manner that they are incognitos. Okay? That's what they want. They want to be away from the government. And Trump and everybody knows that. The question is then, there are criminals in our midst, yeah, there are criminals that came from across the border, but it's not a lot. What Fox News and the others have been able to do is when one foreigner commits a crime, it's the end of the world and it is so bad and they plaster that onto everybody else. Let me tell you, if you go I'm from Panama. A lot of Americans live in Panama. You know, you don't hear Panama when recently there was a tranque in the what do you call it? A big traffic jam on the Transísmica in Panama. Okay, and the American guy, he's one of those bullies. He comes out of his car and he's really, really mad. And the tranque, the traffic jam was caused by a protest. And he just got mad and he got out of his car with his gun in his hands, right? And two teachers were, protesting with the signs. And when he took his gun out and popped a cap in each one of them, killed two of them. And, it didn't make huge, big news here in the United States. I found out about it because I read La Prensa, which is a Panamanian newspaper. But imagine if that had happened over here, what they would talk about, the foreigner coming into our land and they're murdering our innocent Americans, etc. Americans are all over the world. A lot of Americans are all over the world. A lot of criminal Americans are all over the world. Who do you think supply all all that big shooting that you had in Mexico a couple of days ago? Who do you think give them the arms that they're using? Where do you think those arms are manufactured and how do you think they get there? We Americans actually gave it there. Imagine if Mexico started to say those criminal Americans are coming over here and doing that, just like we say about the fentanyl that the Chinese are sending to Mexico to come out here. Suppose we did that. Again, balance and understanding. So, there are a few criminals here, but there are not enough of them to fill up not one of these concentration camps that they're building. There are not enough of these violent criminals from overseas to fill up not one. And we are buying dozens upon dozens of these warehouses to put people up. This is not for criminality. There are two reasons for this. The first is to make money for his court. Think about this. In Georgia, they bought a warehouse. A Russian company, a Russian leaning company, bought a warehouse for $29 million. And they sold that warehouse to our government. Remember, Doge was supposed to take out inefficiency and all that kind of stuff? They sold that for $129 million. Wow. They held it for 2 years, sold it for $129 million. Do you think there are kickbacks occurring somewhere? Of course there is. I mean, one of the reasons Donald Trump is petrified of a Congress changeover has more to do with the oversight that the Democratic Congress is going to give to Donald Trump and all these monies. Remember, the reason he had his private police with 100 and something billion out of the great beautiful bill, that was 150 something billion they were telling themselves, yep, that's ours. And how we turn, you know how the criminals wash their money? They may open a laundry shop or a restaurant that don't make any money, but they pass that money on as they pass the money into this restaurant to clean it. Well, Donald Trump is doing the reverse. The government allocates the money, and then they take it and clean it. But let me tell you now about what these gulags are for. So there are two purposes. I wrote this article, and it came from a piece that I did right here on KPFT, but the title of my article is The Upcoming American Holocaust, Connecting Billionaires, AI, ICE, and Trump Concentration Camps. I'm going to put that link back in the chat again because I want you guys to not only read that article, but share that article because this is a forward looking of the only reason. And I wish more of my people who understand the Holocaust and so forth will get it. Things don't just happen immediately. You kind of ease yourself into it. And we are for what's going to happen when AI, remember I told you, AI does not belong under capitalism at all because AI is stolen knowledge, right? AI is our composite knowledge. It cannot be, or it should not be owned by a company. It should not be AI should be a public good because it is a combined knowledge executions and of everything that we've done. But we have allowed our capitalism to capture it. So as we capture AI is darn good. I've used a whole lot of it in prepare. I mean, I look, my one person media operation, and I'm not kidding you, operates like a 5-person place in the past. And that is because of all these tools that I'm capable of using. I could not produce the amount of stuff that I produce absent the help of all these tools. From the time this program starts, we have tools that automatically send it out to different streams. We have tools that say it's a 6 o'clock in morning show. So some of it goes to KPFT, some of it goes here at 6 o'clock. It says you better not send that to KPFT because you say obscenities sometimes, etc. And it is magic. Okay, well, it's not magic really. It is our composite work. Okay, it's our composite work. All of the work that belongs to all of us. And so it should not be owned. But what that also means is that means we are going to have a lot of people without jobs. And all those people without jobs, eventually, when people don't have anything to lose, they get mad. And when they get mad, they react. And when they react, chaos is out there. We have to have a place to put those who are willing to react with chaos. And that is what these gulags are being made for. The disruption that the billionaires create with AI. And how are we going to round up all those people that are going to make trouble? That's why we have a force that can go into any state and that doesn't fall under the posse comitatus, meaning it's not military and it's under the control of the federal government. And who is the executive of the federal government? Donald Trump, the president of the United States. So the idea then, when this disruption occurs, this private secret police that you see beating up supposedly the immigrants, but somehow a whole lot of Americans get in there as well. They are going to be the collectors, with unbound collectors of the troublemakers that occur from the crisis that we have in the economic system. I hope folks understand it. It doesn't have it seems like it doesn't have a use right now. but you have to keep them filled. You have to keep the those people that are providing the meals, that are providing the sewage, the water, and all these things, the control of all of this. You, the people, are the raw material that keeps all of this going. But anyway, so I hope read that article that I just put in the chat in both chats because you'll see what I'm talking about. I hope I explained it well. If I didn't, the phone is always there. All right, look, we are in Fun Drive. We're at 20 minutes after, and we don't have a penny. And I started with this subject because of Jack. Jack went ahead and damn it, opened the door again. But
Why, Cindy?
listen to me. Let me just say this: we need your support, and we're at zero. I want to ask you so kindly. Call 713-526-5738. I'm going to throw it to Sandy before I go to the phones and then present Amanda Edwards with a message for voters. Go ahead, Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto. Egberto puts a lot of research into this program, and even though he's using AI and operating as five, even though he's one, it's a lot of work. And he's bringing this to you every morning consistently. You turn on the radio, and there's Egberto with a new topic, well researched, inviting your calls, and we begin a dialogue. This dialogue that we hold on the radio when you call in on this show and on conversations a little bit later, it provides an avenue so that we can understand each other just a little bit better, look at things at a little different perspective. This is what KPFT can bring to light. We're an educational broadcast entity. Education comes in many forms. You may hear something in the course of this broadcast or other KPFT broadcasts, could be music, lyrics, could be the conversation we have here this morning that triggers a thought, that leads to a dialogue, that allows you to come to an understanding with someone else that you might think otherwise you never could. That leads to a more peaceful existence amongst us. Little steps, micro steps, but there they are, and KPFT has that platform. It's available because of listener donations. Please invest in our future collectively. Let's stay ahead of the messaging that comes from the top, from the oligarchy, as is often put on this program. And let's have this discussion here every morning. And to do that, we need the money to keep operating the radio station. It's $60,000 a month. All we're asking this morning is $500. 5 of you wearing a Politics Done Right t-shirt, 4 of you doing $120 a month would get us really close, and then maybe someone could throw a $20 bill on top of that. Very easy to fund this station, very easy to lose this station when no one takes action. And so far this morning, nobody has stepped up. So please be the first on this Tuesday, terrific Tuesday. Call 713-526-5738 option 1, or mouse it over to kpft.org and click donate. Choose your thank you gift, but remember, the biggest thank you gift we have is the opportunity to have these dialogues, to get this dose of reality from a different perspective. I can't put a price tag on that. We don't supply a price tag for that. You determine what your part is. 713-526-5738 option 1, or kpft.org. Those of you with sustaining memberships, we thank you so much. It makes a huge difference. If you're doing $5 a month right now, maybe you could consider upping that 5 more and making it $10 a month, or taking your $10 sustainer and making that 15. Those incremental additions make it possible to keep KPFT coming to you. Don't take anything for granted. Each and every one of these fund drives is a life or death situation to our ability to pay bills. We run close to the bone. We ask only for what we need to run the station during these drives. And we're doing really well. As I said, we've collected over $108,000, but it would be great to increase that total on this program beginning as soon as possible. 713-526-5738 or kpft.org. Egberto,
Thank you
you
so
for what
kindly
you
for
do.
that. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, Sandy's so right. I mean, we look. There's a lot that goes into KPFT. Everybody here at KPFT works very hard to keep this station on. You have Jack leaving early in the mornings from the south side of town, 4 something in the mornings, and Mayana coming into the studio. Everybody's working hard to do this. This is not only this is something that we feel responsible for doing, and we do it. We ask for your support, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Let's go to Bobby, line 1. Come on in, Bobby.
Hi, good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
I didn't want to hang up on you, but while I was on hold, I was going to mention, the fact that he was buying those detention centers or warehouses and paying twice what they're worth, and you had mentioned it while I was on hold. Anyway.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, Bobby, thank you for that. I mean, it's always reassuring as well when others come out and say, people are realizing that. So thanks for telling me that. All right. Take care. Take care, brother. Let's go to Ilan. Ilan, come on in, Ilan. Ilan, how you doing? Ilan, you're on. Okay, maybe Ilan, did you go to sleep? All right. Ilan, call back if I'm sorry for keeping you on hold that long. Call back if you need to. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Miss Edwards now, and then we'll come back. This is about voting. Cheryl Elkins has the link for the coffee, the Zoom coffee with Egberto. Go ahead and click it to get in. If you're not on the screens right now, you can just go ahead and get into the Substack and get to it. We send out the newsletter every morning, so you can get all the information right there as well. Let's go to Amanda Edwards, who has a new vote. Well, restarted a new voting program. Let's go do that. Welcome to another edition of Politics and Random. Egberto Willies, your host. Today, we are honored to have Amanda Edwards. Amanda Edwards is a Houston attorney, civic leader, and former city council member who has consistently pushed for expanded opportunity and deeper community engagement. She's now launching the Do Something Houston Voter Registration Initiative, a grassroots effort aimed at increasing voter participation and strengthening local democracy. How art thou doing, Amanda?
Well, I'm doing great. And, we are just forging full steam ahead, trying to get people to understand what's at stake in this moment. So much is going on in our nation, and it's time for us to get back into a leadership position and really get our country back on track.
I am glad when I saw that email from you and I started to read it, I said immediately, this is the kind of stuff we've been asking people who have been in the political domain to be doing. In other words, it's okay to go out there and try to get into elections, but unless you have that base built, what's the point? And I see it seems like you're creating fissures of people with this. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the initiative?
Yeah. So, we like to talk about elections. I think you've alluded to it. We like to talk about elections, but not the work that goes into making those elections successful. And part of that means having registered voters. And so if you recall back in 2024, when Vice President Kamala Harris was running for president, our First Lady at the Democratic National Convention had mentioned during that time that it was time for everyone just to do something, right. Whether that was knocking doors, making calls, talking to neighbors, whatever they could do to have an impact on that election cycle, it was necessary. And nothing has changed in terms of the necessity of doing something. In fact, it's more urgent and pressing now than ever before because of what's on the chopping block. You have ICE attacking and killing people. You have instances of healthcare being made to become a political chip as opposed to affordable access to coverage. You are seeing economic instability run rampant. You're seeing education also be stripped away. And so there are just so many of the core elements of what allows someone to be able to thrive that now is on the chopping block, that it's critically important that we don't just turn a blind eye or look away or try to refocus our attention on something different because it's disturbing. We have to get in there and fight. And so I believe that every single person can participate. So some people run for office. Some people are those that are organizers in their communities, and there are others that can do things like register voters. And with Do Something Houston, I launched it in 2024 in response to that message to do something. And it's a voter registration initiative in which we are meeting people where they are. So that is local eateries, churches, just different spaces and places where people naturally will be present. We are going to those spaces and places and meeting them so that they can then become part of this process of getting our democracy back. And that is critically important. So we are now, of course, asking people to sign up with us. And then, of course, the first step in being able to participate is that you must get deputized. So you cannot just go and register voters. You have to go through a process known as deputization, where you get a 1 hour training online. It's very simple and easy, but you have to do it because they're going to be critical questions you get asked, and you need to know the answers. And so that's a key part of that effort. And so that's the first step. And the second step, of course, is to come out with us once we start going to some of our local eateries and churches and other places where people are. The goal here is to win this midterm election cycle. It's critically important. Right now, the presidency belongs to Trump. And right now, the U.S. Supreme Court has been acquiescing to him, and so has the legislative branch. And so we're not seeing three branches of government function in the way that they are supposed to. And that means three branches of government that have a full set of checks and balances on each other. We're not seeing that. So it's important that we win this midterm election cycle. Democrats need to win it so that we can bring some semblance of balance back. We can start holding the president more accountable for the just excessive, outrageous behavior when it comes to the overreach of power and abuse of power that we are witnessing. And so that we can start an agenda that involves people again and involves our communities winning again. And when I say that, I mean education and healthcare and economic opportunity for everyone to be able to thrive. And so this is an important building block to getting to that space, because we have to first make sure that our voters are in fact registered. And sometimes you find that people were registered, but they may have moved within a year or things like that nature. So there are lots of ways in which you are helping to improve the outcomes as it relates to the midterm cycle by making sure people are registered and providing those vehicles.
Let me give a great example, and I said that you'd see how important that work is going to be. I was going through my regular TikTok. I have a particular thread that gets pretty political, and in this thread, a woman, Pamela McCrae, in somewhere in the Dallas, Texas area, went to vote. She had her passport, she had her driver's license, but she couldn't vote. She voted in the presidential election, and it turns out that she was off the rolls. Well, making sure, giving people the education that says, even as you have voted before, you must continuously check to make sure you're still on those rolls, and to make sure that if you're not, you register again and report what is happening, which is what Pamela McCrae did. She went ahead and re-registered, and she also made it known that she was illegally removed from the voter rolls. People need to be educated about that, and that is one of the reasons why I'm excited about others in the community executing, not just talking about go out and vote. Telling somebody to go out and vote is not enough. Encouraging them over time, telling them over time what needs to be done,
and equipping them with the tools. I think that's the thing. People don't know what to ask. They don't know what to check. They don't have that information. So you can go and check if you are actively registered presently on the rolls by visiting hctax.net. That's the Harris County Tax Assessor's website. That's Annette Ramirez's website, so at hctax.net. You can then look and find out to see if they have you on the rolls or not. If your information is accurate. I have engaged with individuals whose addresses were not correct, even though their name appeared. And so you don't know what you'll stumble upon, but you need to find out well in advance of them then asking you to cast a provisional ballots at the polls, because
which many times aren't counted.
Yeah, well, that's an issue that many people feel a lot of reluctance around, and so that's not where you want to end up. So I think ultimately, we've got to get people the information, how to check, how to be proactive. And then, of course, they have all kinds of questions. I've had people ask questions about if you've been incarcerated, can you vote? The answer to that question is yes. If you're off your papers, you're not paroled, you're not on any other requirements necessary, you can. And so people having enough information, having enough time, the deadline always to register to vote is always 30 days before the election. People need to know that as well. So don't come over there 2 weeks before the election saying you want to get registered. It's too late. And I wouldn't advise you waiting until 30 days before, because that's actually the deadline. So you need to probably give yourself a month before that to work through any challenges that there might be in terms of whether you've been purged from the rolls, or again, like I said, sometimes people forget changes in their lives, like moving in the beginning of the year, and they haven't dealt with that from a voter registration perspective. And so just things of that nature, you want to make sure it's done. And then, of course, there are lots of people who are coming into our communities and not getting registered. You're supposed to, state law is the election code. State law requires schools to avail students who are near 18 years old of information on how to register to vote, but they don't often do that. And so at schools, that's where kids are supposed to be being educated about that. That's not happening. You could call your school and ask, is this being done at the school? Did you know that's a requirement? And these are things that you can do proactively to make sure that you've got a brand new crop of 18-year-olds now newly registered to vote and are activated and have answers to their questions. So I've seen people do all kinds of really wonderful things when it comes to getting people out to the polls, getting them registered. And this is an opportunity to do that across a broad spectrum.
Now, Amanda, good work. How is it going? How's the registration going as far as getting people who are going to help you out?
Yeah, so far so good. We just announced it. And so we're getting people signed up. And so this isn't the first time we've done this. We started it in 2024. So there were a number of people who were already familiar with the effort that were excited to see it come back. It's also an opportunity for collaboration. So it's not just our group by itself. There are lots of groups, Divine Nine organizations and others that all have their own voter registration efforts. And so you don't have to be the lone wolf by yourself. You can team up with other groups and entities and do shifts so that it makes it easier and more accessible to people to participate.
Now, are you covering just Harris County with your group, or are you also kind of expanding this throughout the state?
No, just Harris County. We're focusing on Harris County. And then, of course, voter registration across the state. We see lots of efforts being done. But at this time, we're focused on here in Houston.
What should I have asked you that I didn't?
How to get in touch with me.
All right, great. So how do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on social. I'm on Amanda K. Edwards TX on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and then on I guess I was getting ready to say Twitter, on X and Blue Sky, I'm AK Edwards TX, and so we have our link to register, sign up. Just make sure to try to do that as soon as possible so you can start. We're trying to get folks registered. Registered with the program now, and some dates for them to participate in getting their deputization.
And you're going to make sure that we pull the vote out in November, right, Amanda?
That's what we're working on. We got to get our voters registered first.
And out to vote. We got to
get your voters registered and out to vote.
We just love to see when people are doing positive things in the community to ensure that our vote counts. Thank you very much, Miss
Thank you.
Amanda Edwards, thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, all right, all right. So again, we are all into the political involvement, folks. I want to give a big thank you to Donald. He got himself a sustainer. If we could get about 8 more, let me tell you, uh, $5 a month or $10 a month. Honestly, we all know for many of us, we won't necessarily feel that it's a cup of coffee. If you could do that for us, it would be great. You can see we go out there and do the work. We go out there and ensure people are informed. We bring those who are informing people, who are doing the work. But we can't do it without you. Ilan, and first of all, I want to salute Uju, welcome aboard. Marnie, welcome aboard. Don, welcome aboard, as well as Neil A. Norfleet. Thank you all for being in the chat, Sandy Bassett. Para ver quién más está aquí. Comcast, Marnie, Ziggy, I remember seeing more. La Preciosa de Mexico, Eric. No, this is actually Eric Lulov. How you doing, Eric? Dr. Lulov. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for being here. Michael Catlett, etc. Let's go to Ilan, and then after Ilan, I'm gonna jump to Sandy. Folks, we need to raise $440 more. Thank you so kindly for your sustainer, brother Donald. Thank you so kindly for that. Let's go to Ilan.
Alon is a sustainer as well. And I may have had some bad news last week when I called, but I wanted to inject a little humor into the proceedings. The abbreviation for the word foot is FT. And you know that Superman has on his back a cape.
Yes.
So it follows that, like Mercury, a flying foot, you have a capey FT.
Okay, Alan. Thank you for the injection of humor.
Alan is with the crowd that's in.
Yes, you are with the crowd that's in, my brother. Anyway, Ilan is an activist that's been out here in Houston for a very, very long time. Richard, come on in. Real quick for me so I can head off to Sandy. And folks, please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension 1. We need your support really, really now. We're down 440. Richard, come on in.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, listen, don't wait till a month before the election. Register now. This is the only time we got. Do not wait. You'll forget about it. If you're not registered, if you want to check, go on the website, do what you got to do. Now's the time. Get ready, and then, encourage your neighbors or whoever, but do something. Don't wait till a month before, and so forth. Just let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Richard. Anything else real quick?
Yeah, bye.
All right. Have a good one, brother. Sandy, come on in, my brother.
Thank you, Egberto, and thank you, Don, for getting us started this morning. We need another $440 to accomplish our goal, a very important goal on this Tuesday morning. Many of you are listening right now and thinking that someone else is going to make that pledge. Indeed, 1 in 16 people bother to make that pledge. At least that's what the statistics show us pretty consistently. Don't be one of the 15 people that sit idly by. In 2022, in July, I took the position of interim general manager. At that point, we had approximately $1 in the bank of operating funds. At that time, it cost a little over $50,000 a month to operate the station. The increased costs have come from Pacifica's push to hire general managers and program directors at all the stations, and KPFT again was blazing the path as we were in a position to do that first. At that time in July, it was so close to not having KPFT. We cannot lapse back into that. Each of these fund drives ensures that we go a little bit further. Each of these fund drives guarantees that we can pay the bills needed to operate the radio station, which again, they accumulate to $60,000 a month. Donald got us started with a $5 a month pledge. That's fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Donald, you did so much more than hundreds, maybe thousands of people that are listening right now that are not doing a thing. For those of you that are already contributed this drive, thank you. That are already sustainers, thank you. But those of you that have not pledged, maybe never pledged, join in, won't you? Feels pretty good to become radioactive, supporting KPFT in the community. This drive is going real well. Yesterday was the first really slow day. We can't afford two in a row. So, folks, if you haven't made that pledge yet, join Donald, join the other 698 plus Donald, 699 people that have stepped up to make a contribution this time. You will be the 700th pledge in doing so. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. And oh, by the way, Donald is from Capitol Heights, Maryland. That's not
Yeah.
Houston, not even close. We're reaching far and wide.
And
Let's see if we can get someone else to donate that's even further away than Capitol Heights, Maryland, and see who could be the furthest from Houston to donate this morning. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. We could also look for the person closest to 4504 Caroline Street to donate. But let's get this accomplished this morning. It's so important this morning that we step up and contribute to KPFT and get the fund drive moving toward its conclusion, which I hope will be about this time next week. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. I can't wait till the end of the fund drive, just like most of you can't. I have so much material that I've been wanting to put out there. Yesterday, I spoke to Chris Sampson, and Chris Sampson is in Ukraine right now. And while we were talking on the phone, missiles started to go over his head in Ukraine. And he pulls up his laptop and shows me how they have a system that shows where these missiles are going. And he shows me in real time that these missiles are heading over where he's at. Amazing stuff. We are working to bring Ukraine have been almost off the radar for the last several days, right? When there's a whole lot of stuff happening there. So what Sandy says so right. We can't do this without you. I want to show you, list you something. This is one of our MAGA brothers in the chat, and this is what he says. And Sandy, this is to you. He says, "Who lets a company account gets to $1?" And I agree with you, Sandy. How did you let a company account go to $1? And let me tell you how it went to $1. It went to $1 because again, we are only, and that, by the way, it's factual what he's saying, and it only gets there because we are solely, and it's no joke, we are solely dependent on those who listen to us and those who see the value in what we do. And at times, you go to $1. I wondered, how did he get it to stop at $1 and not go negative immediately thereafter? Well, I know what he did. He went ahead and probably started calling up a whole bunch of folk and saying, "Hey, we have these bills to pay, and after this bill, I got a buck in here. I need more." Again, and these are real stories, man. These are real stories. And we can tell you stories about how we keep this station going. All the volunteers that are here when things get out of hand. And, let me tell you, I've been at that station cleaning toilets. I've been at that station putting up smoke detectors. And Sandy can tell you, I've been out there setting up RJ45 wires for the internet. All these things, we do it. So when you're contributing to this, we are doing this work ourselves. We are good stewards of your money. We don't go out there and do what Trump does and hire a friend who makes a profit and give him a kickback. No, we go in there and work with our hands. We go in there and work and do everything to keep that station up. Anyway, so please give us a call, 713-526-5738. extension number 1 to contribute. Anything that you can, $5 a month, $10 a month, one-time donation. Coffee with Egberto, $250. What else have we got? The T-shirts of any kind, either Politics Done Right or the real KPFT only T-shirt. Again, $100 a month, and you can do that over time. Jimmy's on the line. Come on in, Jimmy, line 1.
Good morning, Egberto. I want to urge everybody to be sure to vote in the current election. You can early vote up through the 27th, and March the 3rd is the actual election. I urge you to vote in the Democratic primary. The Republicans have given us these high tariffs that are adding to inflation. They've given us these ICE thugs that are beating up people and arresting innocent people. And specifically in the Democratic primary, I urge you to vote for Anise Parker for county judge. She was a good mayor and she'll be a good county judge. I also urge you to vote for Representative James Talarico for the U.S. Senate. He's a good member of the Texas legislature now, and he wants to move up to the U.S. Senate where he can help the whole state. So go out there and vote Democratic. President Trump is having a State of the Union message tonight. I urge you to watch that just to learn what he's up to. And he's doing a lot of crazy things out there with these tariffs. And thank goodness the Supreme Court shut him down on that. But
Thank you, Jimmy.
More and more coal, which is bad
Thank
for
you.
the atmosphere.
My brother Jimmy is my 90-something-year-old brother. I always have to say that, Jimmy, because I always look at your stamina and wonder how the hell you did it. But, you keep it up. All right, brother?
I don't know. Keep trying to eat healthy, get exercise, spend your money wisely. Don't pay interest on your credit cards. Pay off the credit cards in full each month.
And what about KPFT? Jimmy, what do you have to tell folks about KPFT?
Yeah, donate to KPFT. KPFT is carrying this talk radio program all over the Texas and all over the USA and the world. So it's a good way to spread important information and have people can have their voices heard around the world. So
thank you, my brother.
KPFT 90.1 FM.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Listen, Jimmy has been doing his activism for a long time. By the way, I think I better say this. Remember, that's Jimmy's suggestions, okay? That has nothing to do with KPFT. That has nothing to do with me. This is free speech. He can say whatever he wants, but we don't. We just keep the door open for everybody to say as they please. All right. I had one more video, but I can't because we are $440 away from our goal. And I have to try. And look, I hate doing this. I really do. I hate it. I have so much to talk about. I have so much to tell you about. I have so much that we need to talk about. But I won't be able to keep talking if we don't make our funds to keep this station alive. So I have to try to urge those of you that have yet to support KPFT but enjoy what we do here to ask you to make that little sacrifice. I know you want to listen and you don't want to pick up the phone and get your credit card and do all of that. I know, but I'm asking you to make that sacrifice for us, for all of us. And I don't mean KPFT, I mean all of us, because this is what it's going to take. I was talking to a friend and he was talking about people voting against their own interests and all of that. And I said, no, these people think they're voting in their interest. They think they're voting in their interest. And why do they think they're voting in their interest? Because the sources that they listen to and the sources that they get emails from and TikToks and Instagram. That's why I keep on all these platforms, because I want to see what is making people believe the things that they believe, right? So I have to keep abreast of what's going on every single platform and write accordingly, create a meme accordingly, create an article accordingly. Like this article that I placed in the chat for you guys a few minutes ago, because you know where people's minds are. But who is funding this misinformation to them? We have Lee the Bearcat. And Lee, I'm calling you out for a reason. He's a MAGA guy. and he's here every day. But he's not a troll. There are some MAGA folks that come in to troll. He's actually listening to what we're talking about, but we haven't yet gotten through what the disease that that Fox News and all these other things have infiltrated into my brother. But he's here every day. There's something about politics done right, brother. Lead a Bearcat that keeps you here. And I have quite a few MAGAs like that, right? They come in here and they want to engage. I've had coffee with a couple of them, and but they're still here. I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to say things that they are, and they push back and they push back, and every time they push back, they get stuff, and then they try to push back again, right? But what we do is we try to have that counter programming to what's screwing the country up. And I mean that to the core of my heart. The billionaires, the funders of the misinformation, they are screwing. If I was on my other show, I could say it even more effectively, but they're screwing you up. They're screwing our country up. And the only way we can change that is for those who are willing to go out there and put themselves on the line and talk to the leader Bearcats as well as talk to others, encourage others that they matter, right? That's all you can. That's what you do. And you see, Lee admits it here. He says, learning. Yes, learning. And what I'm saying, folks, is the following: we can't. And again, this is not just telling you something that is a marketing gimmick. The marketing gimmick is when I say, give $250 to have coffee with Egberto. Damn it, you know I'll have coffee with you anyway. Right? I mean, if I saw you somewhere, I'll have coffee with you anyway. But it is a matter of saying, support us. So if you are wealthy, if you have an extra 250 to say, let's do a half coffee with Egberto, our beautiful Elkins in the chat, she went ahead and said she covered one of the times that we needed to make quota. We didn't make a thing. She just threw it in there and said, you know what? We'll have the Zoom coffee with Egberto. She goes ahead and she covers that. And by the way, the link is in the chat, both chats, on how to sign up for I think Lynette has it, not Lynette, Cheryl Elkins have it set for, let me look and see the date. Well, she's going to throw the dates in there again. I can't, the scroll is long. But I mean, but what I'm saying, folks, is we need you. We still only have Don. Thank you, Don, for out of Capitol Heights, Maryland. That's the only contribution we have thus far. We need a lot more. We need $440 more of contribution. We can't do it without you. So give us a call, 713-526-5738. I'm going to throw it to Sandy in a minute. But while I'm talking here, because again, I don't have any, the rest of the program is at the newsletter because I can't do any more videos. I don't have the time anyway, but we need to raise that. So I'm asking you to give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Let's get this stuff going. Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto. Yes, we have the one contribution from Donald in the hour so far. Many more of you are listening, trying to decide if, this is worth your time and your effort to invest into KPFT a few dollars a month. Let me ask you, those of you trying to decide, maybe on the fence, why do you listen? Why are you listening here and maybe not tuned into one of those AM talk shows, or maybe on Spotify listening right now to some of your favorite tunes as you drive? You're listening here because of the dialogue, because of the difference. You're listening here maybe because there are no commercials to thrill you with and talk about side effects, bad side effects too. They tell you how great the pill is, and then they turn around and tell you how bad that is. You don't hear that here. You won't. We don't air commercials. We survive on your donations. If those aren't coming in, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And I'm hopeful that we don't have a problem, and a few more of you will chime in here right at the end and help us pull out this goal in the last few minutes of this program. We're going to go a couple of extra minutes here this morning trying to make this goal. It's that important. We're coming down toward the end of the drive. I know only 108, you're saying 175, but on March 3rd, we will see our tranche of sustainers roll over. In other words, those that pledged last March on a sustaining basis, if they keep that going, well, they'll tag this fund drive for another year's worth of contributions. That's how the system works. So we're days away from that, but that will boost us closer yet to our overall goal. But March 3rd isn't until next week. We have a few days here in between, and I'm hopeful on that day when we get that sustaining rollover, it'll be enough to end the drive. But it won't if we're still here stuck on this number. Now, we do this every morning, and we're going to continue to do this until we get the money to pay the bills. We have to have that money to pay the bills. No electricity, can't transmit. Don't pay the tax bill, nothing to have for a studio because there's a lock on the door with a chain. Folks, this is your community radio station. This is our goal together. Those of you, again, that have not yet pledged, please take in part responsibility for what you listen to and share with the others that have already contributed. Do your part. $5 a month. What do you do with that $5 bill when you leave the house in the morning? The answer is probably not too much. What we can do with it is pure magic, keeping these broadcasts coming. Egberto, we're going to go till 10 after, and then we'll cut over to Democracy Now! So let's continue, please.
Well, thank you for that, Sandy. I got an extra 10 minutes to convince you. So please, please, please give us a call. 713-526-5738 extension 1. Uju says not watching the meaning the state of the state of the country. The orange cankles is a one-trick pony. He will do his greatest hits. Lock her up. 2020 was stolen. America is on decline. Of somehow is having a great comeback. He is into Epstein files. You're so right about that. It's a one-trick pony, but I'll watch it for all of you and tell you anything that needs to be told for those who don't want to watch it. And yeah, I don't think you should waste your time. Catherine says she lost her connection, but it came back. Morny says, I listen here because there's nobody in the Egberto League in my Charleston radio market in Charleston, South Carolina. That's a smart and speaking the truth. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So please, Marnie is a supporter as well. I'm looking at our chat. Our chat is full of supporters. We need some of you here in Houston on air, in your car, elsewhere, to please go ahead and consider becoming supporters of KPFT. And it's not hard at all. If you're just getting up with your morning coffee, you're just getting out of bed, let's do it. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. I'm looking at the screen right now. I've never at this point in time look at the screen and see one person. It is like, oh my God, is this real? Just one contributor so far? You know, I know we're better than that. And again, I am not trying to do any kind of shaming or anything like that, folks. But the other side, the side that we complain about, how things happened and how did that happen and where do they support, you know, it- you go to a Trump rally and people that don't have a pot to do what in, have a MAGA red hat on and the t-shirts and all of that. And we know Donald Trump's just bilking these people with false hope. And they're in there supporting that which lies to them, support that which pilfers them. And we are here trying to wake folks up, trying to make folks woke, right? We're here. We're here doing the work. Take a look at the body of work, man. Take a look at what we do. I think, I think we're deserving. I think, to put it bluntly, I think we've earned, because again, the money's not coming to me. I don't get a penny. I honestly don't get a penny from anything raised here at KPFT. Not a penny. So what you're given is going to keep this stuff on air. It really is. So give us a call, 713-526-5738. Hit that number 1 and give whatever you can. Or go to kpft.org, kpft.org, hit that donate button, select Politics Done Right as a program you're supporting, and give whatever you can. May I suggest a $5 a month contribution? May I suggest a one-time contribution? May I suggest a $10 a month contribution? Whatever you can afford, and whatever you see fit. Whatever you see fit. Again, this stuff doesn't operate for free, and we work hard to make sure to do the right thing. 713-526-5738. I get calls all of the times, right? Because I do this, and people like, who do I need to vote for, and all this kind of stuff. And I would go ahead. There are times that I don't know, and I'll go ahead and call somebody up that I know, and I say, hey, this listener wants to know this. What do you think I give? That part of the site that I have, politicsdoneright.com/voter guide. That didn't come from me. It came from John Cotter, who knew all the people who had the suggestions and had the reasoning behind suggestions. We don't just do the radio. We make sure and we work with you. You have a family here. So I ask you to support the family. 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or kpft.org. Hit the donate button. Let me throw it to Sandy one more time because we're going to be out of time after that. So come on in, Sandy, one more time.
Thank you, Egberto. Yes, we still have the one donation on the board. It's never too late. You can get to where you're going. You can dial the number 713-526-5738. Hit option 1, spend a couple minutes with the person on the other end of the phone, or click the donate button at kpft.org. Again, a very quick process and safe and secure online. Please do your part, folks. We're stuck on the one pledge. Be great to shatter that silence and get a couple more here in the last 2-3 minutes. Egberto, thank you for what you do. Jack, Mayana, thank you for being there as always, faithfully getting up at 4 a.m. and driving in so that we could all share this program. Egberto, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let me throw it to Mayana to if she has anything quick to say, and Jack if he has anything quick to say before I close.
I actually do. I want to say how I got into KPFT. I got into KPFT actually hearing this show. I would drive to do some exercise early in the morning, and instead of listening to music, I would get hyped up listening to Egberto sharing his passion, and it was I was like, oh my God, who's this guy so passionate about politics? And I thought it was crazy because I had never heard somebody talk about it the way that you spoke about it. It felt so true and so passionate. And it reminded me of when I have talks and people are asking me be quiet, relax, when I get upset about something. So I had to find out where's this from and, become a part of this. And you were definitely a drive to come here. And so, you get to hear passion, you get to hear truth and all of that on this radio because the people that are here are people who really care about community and what's going on out there and what we put out there. And it's a family, and the community is part of that family. And so that's why we're here.
Look, thank you very much for that, Mayana. Thank you very much for that. And let's see, Jack, you have anything quick to say?
Yeah, this weekend, the 28th and the 1st, I'm going to be out in the front yard taking drive-by donations for the Manna Food Bank. While we're doing our fund drive, we're doing a food drive too. So y'all come on out and drop off donations. I'll kiss babies. I'll kiss dogs. I'll
You'll
kiss
kiss
wives.
babies.
I'll,
I
I'll
love
kiss
that.
husbands. I'll give you a big hug on the neck. I'll put a bumper sticker on your car. All right,
Before you
y'all come out and support this food drive. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Egberto.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jack. And I want to give a big thank you to David. David just brought. We just need 420 now, folks. So when we're going off the air, not well, politics done right is going to democracy now. But you can still contribute to the program. Go to kpft.org, kpft.org. Hit the donate button. After you hit that donate button, remember to select Politics Done Right as the program that you're coming in. Oh, Catherine, thank you so kindly. Catherine just laid a what I don't forgot what the name it is. Thank you so kindly for that donation, Catherine, out of New London, Connecticut. Houston, we need some more. Well, I tell you what, David is out of Houston. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I got to get out of here. You still have time. kpft.org, hit the donate button, select Politics Done Right from the drop down menu, and give whatever you can. I love you all. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
And we're going to join